Guys, if you enjoyed this episode of 7 on Sunday, be sure to leave a like on the video and let me know what other guests you would like to see me bring on in the future. Here we go! What's up everyone? John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another episode of 7 on Sunday. It's Sunday, you're not going to be tuned in anywhere else. Today, I am joined by my buddy, TheRockCritic, aka Crash Thompson. Crash, what's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot, John. Thanks for having me on, man. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know we've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I don't you think we picked out a pretty good topic? Wasn't it worth the wait?
Given that I review both games and music, this is actually right up my alley, so yeah, you couldn't have picked a better one, dude. Exactly. Bravo.
Guys, make sure you do check out Crash's channel. It'll be linked in the description. He's got one called TheRockCritic, where, what would you say you mainly do on there? Reviews, more in-depth stuff as well, and you also have a gaming channel.
My main channel is TheRockCritic, where I review, it's basically just what it sounds like. I review mostly rock albums, rock, metal, punk, the occasional pop flair here and there. I just love me some Tegan and Sara, so I can't help myself, but yeah, we mostly just review rock, little short snippets, little in-depth series. If you're a Weezer fan, I got you covered. I also started last year a new gaming channel called Game & Crash, which is basically just what we do over on TheRockCritic, except for video games and whatnot. I just released a couple of videos on Resident Evil 7 and a top 10 countdown on bad games that deserve reboots. So if you're into gaming, totally check that out too.
Cool. And that kind of parlays perfectly into what we're doing here today, because we both kind of played both series, the Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and I think that that's something that's been a lot of fun, but also probably frustration over the years, wouldn't you say?
Oh my god, yes.
What we're going to be doing today is counting down 7 picks, 4 from myself and 3 from Crash, on bands that we discovered by their songs being on either a Rock Band title or else a Guitar Hero title. Do you think there's going to be any surprising picks for anyone on here today, Crash?
I know at least 1 or 2 of mine is really surprising. Oh boy, I bet, yeah, I'm definitely going to have a few head scratchers on my list. How about you? I should hope so.
I've got a couple that I don't talk about a ton, and I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 that I've never actually really mentioned, besides maybe a passing glance or a casual reference to them, like a one-liner or something. Never a dedicated video on these bands. So I think a lot of you guys will be surprised with the picks. I'm excited to share them with you. Anything else you want to add before we start off the countdown today, Crash?
Nope. I'm ready to roll if you are.
Alright guys, here we go with my very first pick. My very first pick today is going to be one that's a little bit of an older band, but also a very timely band, something that doesn't really grow old necessarily. It doesn't feel dated, and it's one of those things, whenever I heard this on Rock Band 3 for the very first time, I was just kind of mesmerized with it, because The Killing Moon is such a fantastic jam. In fact, I would say it's one of my favorite songs of all time. Echo and the Bunnymen had their main popularity during the 1980s, and they achieved some longevity into the 90s, and at this point, while they still do release albums as a duo, most recently in 2014, they're not exactly what they used to be. But I do love this band, and I ended up falling in love with their album Ocean Rain, which was different from some of their earlier material that I went back and uncovered, but I just remember the first time playing through Rock Band and playing through the tracks, that one just jumped out to me, and I was like, something about this is different, and something about this is important. The guitar patterns on it, the vocals, they were just very distant from Ian McCulloch, the lead singer of this band, and he said that he had this dream where the whole phrase, fate up against your will, came to him. And that's so cool because I have these weird dreams. That's how I get video ideas sometimes, or else I'll see myself doing something in a dream, I'll wake up and write it down, and it's always fascinating to see what people will come up with in an ethereal dream world, because that really does show in this song. The Killing Moon is just so out there, kind of spacey, and just very rhythm driven. I love the guitar on this. It just varies as the song goes on. It changes pace multiple times. It has a long outro and very instrumental influenced. It's not just vocals. Some of the vocals are just kind of kept in the background, or else they have a lot of reverb on them. And this also applies to some of their other material as well. Like I said, I ended up checking out more of their stuff, loving it, thanks to Rock Band 3.
Okay, my first pick is actually kind of an embarrassing one, truth be told. Not that the band itself is cringeworthy or anything, far from it. It's just that, well, as someone who fancies themselves as kind of a music connoisseur, it's a little embarrassing that it took a Guitar Hero game to finally get me into these guys, but my first choice is The Police. Yeah, I know, but guys, you just gotta remember something here. The Police is a little bit before my time. I mean, before Guitar Hero, I only knew about The Police as that one band Sting was in. And up to that point, all I had heard of Sting was his solo material, and... Look, I'm not one to judge or anything, but do I look like the kind of guy that spins Dream of the Blue Turtles terribly often? I always just kind of assumed that The Police was gonna be, you know, more of that, so I didn't have much interest in it initially. But when I finally heard Message in a Bottle on Guitar Hero 2, oh, forget it, I was hooked. That riff, those vocal melodies, my God, it's so damn catchy. Like, that riff is amazing. It's fun to play on both a real guitar and a fake plinky plonky plastic one. It's just so great. That was the song that got me digging around in their back catalog, and once I did that, I was instantly and forever hooked. It took me way too goddamn long to get into that band, but thanks to Guitar Hero, I finally got around to it. And to be fair to Sting, 10 Summoner's Tales is legit. Fuck off, Fields of Gold is my jam.
Indie pop band Lucius is my next pick. These guys are so cool. Two female singers coming together, bringing their voices, and Will to Woman is the first album that I got, and I picked up that album thanks to hearing Turn It Around whenever I bought Rock Band 4. I remember being so excited to finally get a PS4 so that I could play all of my library songs from Rock Band 3, 2, 1, Green Day Rock Band, anything that I could import, even Lego Rock Band. I wanted to play it on Rock Band 4. And that I did, but I started with just the initial track listing, seeing what this game had to offer, seeing about discovering some new bands from ones that I just hadn't heard of in the track listing. Lucius was there with Turn It Around, and it immediately caught my ear because it has that slow, stuttered start, just mainly kind of some clapping and some vocals, kind of sounded a little bit distant, and it sounded like a vintage flair as well. I really enjoyed it. I was just kind of mesmerized with it, and I was like, this is such a good melody, and then the guitar kicks in. It was so fun to play on Rock Band 4, and it's just such a sweet groove, especially as they team up and sing Turn It Around, Turn It Around. I ended up listening through the entire album Will to Woman, buying their next album Good Grief as well, and I'm now a dedicated fan at this point, really, and it's just because I found them on Rock Band one day and I decided to not just play the old songs that I had imported, I decided to branch out and try the new ones in the game that I had never heard of. Thank you, Rock Band.
My second choice here might also be a little odd, particularly because even though this band was somehow able to snag a song on a Guitar Hero set list, they never really broke out here in the States, not in any big way really. They were huge in Germany, Austria, and other various parts of Europe, but they never made it over here. But, well, when you look like this, I get why something like that would be hard to sell to an American audience. But you know what? You guys missed out, because Tokyo Hotel ended up being pretty legit. I heard Monsoon on Guitar Hero World Tour, and even though it was easy as hell to play, the melody was just too damn infectious to ignore. So I did some more research on these guys, and upon Googling them, yowza! Just look at this dude's hair. It's 1/3 emo, 1/3 glamcore, 1/3 drag queen, and 100% delicious. That mop puts Davey Havok to shame, I swear to God. I picked up Scream purely out of morbid curiosity, but it ended up being a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. And you know what? The band is still going to this day, and you know, they're still doing some pretty good stuff. By this stage, they pretty much dropped the whole rock pretense and have gone full-blown pop. But Kings of Suburbia was insanely catchy in places, and the new one they released, Dream Machine, is actually pretty good if you're into like super mellow, super fuzzed out dream pop. It's a band that's still worth checking out today, and you know, that's not something you can say about every Guitar Hero band. This is a band that I'm sure a lot of people probably wrote off back in the day, but, you know, truth be told, they didn't deserve it. Peruse their catalog sometime. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by what you find. And if nothing else, just peruse a Google image search of these guys, because, oh my God, I can't even. I just can't. I'm done. I'm done. Now we got more video to shoot. I'm kidding. I'll stick around.
My next to last pick today is Senses Fail, a post-hardcore and hard rock band that have been active since 2002, but Buddy Nielsen, the lead singer, is actually the only remaining original member at this point. There have been so many lineup changes, a lot of breaks and that sort of thing, but whenever playing Guitar Hero 3, I remember unlocking the bonus song Can't Be Saved, and I was blown away. It sounded so good, just the gang vocals on the chorus, I'm stuck in a coma, and the way the guitars just line up with it, up and down the scales. I was having a blast playing it, singing it, and at that point I was like, okay, I've made the decision, I need more of this in my life. I went and downloaded Still Searching. I haven't loved every single project, but overall I really do love the vibe and persona of the band Senses Fail.
My final choice here is actually a pretty big one, mostly because in discovering them through Guitar Hero 2 specifically, they slowly but surely ended up becoming one of my favorite bands of all goddamn time. I speak of none other than Lamb of God. Oh, holy hell. Just talk to anyone who played Laid to Rest before they had heard of Lamb of God proper, and you'll get one of two reactions. Either this song, A, blew their minds, or B, it made them break their goddamn controllers. Probably a little bit of both, because that song was crazy hard. I remember back in the day, I actually spent hours on this specific song in practice mode, just so I could hear it over and over again. You know, not even necessarily to get good at it, just so I could listen to it. And I never did that. I never played the practice mode in any Guitar Hero or Rock Band game. Mostly because I was just that good. How you doing? What's up? But yeah, once I got a taste of that insanely infectious groove, I was a Lamb of God devotee for life. And the sweet irony of it is, the Guitar Hero 2 version of this song is actually pretty shitty. See, this was a song from back in the day before Harmonix could just license full tracks for the games, so more often than not they would bring in like a cover band to do sound-alike versions of different songs. And this particular song really got butchered. I mean, the guitars aren't nearly as aggressive as they need to be, the drums are muted as all fuck, and this singer... Yeah, Randy Blythe, he ain't. I mean, just compare this to this. Yeah, once I heard the real version, I was just completely obliterated. Like, that's really a testament to Lamb of God and Laid to Rest itself as a song, when even the shitty, half-assed karaoke version of a song is good enough to get you hooked on the real thing. That's really saying something. No one knows that I
I have really been talking about Queens of the Stone Age a lot lately, and that kind of gets me excited because I love talking about them. I shoehorn them in wherever I can, and this one is coming in at number 1 on a technicality. I say that because, I heard the song and it was something on Guitar Hero that I would see my friends playing. This was all the way back in like 2004 or 5, whenever the first game came out. I saw them playing it. I think I played it once myself and I thought it sounded really good, but I didn't actually end up checking them out more until I got into Little Sister. In fact, I didn't even really know who the band was. I just remember seeing something like Queens or Stone Age of the Queens. I didn't know who they were. But whenever I heard Little Sister and I was reintroduced to them, it kind of clicked, not right at once, but like years later. Oh yeah, these are the guys that I found on Guitar Hero. No One Knows is the song that appeared on Guitar Hero, and while this was a re-recorded version because they couldn't get the master tracks because at that time they weren't rich enough to obtain licensing and all of that shit, I know it's a lot of boring ass details as to why they couldn't get the songs, but basically we were playing covers of the songs. The guitars sounded almost identical, the vocals were clearly off, and the backing vocals as well, so once you hear the studio version, kind of like Crash was talking about with that Lamb of God track, you totally can tell the difference, and it makes you love it that much more because you were like, okay, if I love this song, I'm totally in love with the studio recording. It's just impressive. I really hope you guys enjoyed this collab on SOS with TheRockCritic. Make sure to check out his channel. It'll be linked in the description, or you can tap here in the corner on screen. Check out last week's episode of 7 on Sunday right here, or if you would like to check out my Patreon page and see what you can do to support ARTV, click right here in the other corner. Other than that, I'll see you guys very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.